So what part do we want to take a look at here first? We've already sort of talked about how the map is created, but let's just take a look at that and we'll just go step by step. All right, so I'm going to pull up this file. Okay, you see I include a script file. I include, let me make that a little smaller. I include script, I include this. So here let's just take a look at a couple things. So I set some variables. This is the variable that says every 60,000 milliseconds is 60 seconds. So every 60 seconds a day changes. And then I created this array called game squares. And what that is doing is when we run the event that says create the map, when we create the map, then we say we want to populate and say behind each square there's a certain event. So let's just look at the game board for right now, and then we can talk about other things. So this is jQuery, and remember jQuery is kind of a collection of JavaScript. We do have to reference it. I have a reference for it, sort of where I say we're going to include the jQuery library. I have that in my header, and then I say set up board events, and what that means, let's pull up set up board events. So I say that I'm going to create in this array called game squares for every event that we have, right? Like the attack by a wolf or whatever. I'm going to choose a random number between 0 and 525, and I'm going to place that on a square. Now that's a little bit easier to understand if we look at this one first. This is generate the map, okay? So it says, where is it? Okay, so set up board events, right? All right, so some of the order here is a little bit weird because, and this is probably going to be a little too complicated for you just getting started, but we're also calling certain files. Okay, so for instance, this grab data info, all of my information about what the people or the trades or what else is on there, the items that people own, that's all stored in a file, and that's the thing that we over here we say set interval, and we run this get new info file every 5 seconds. Remember, 5,000 milliseconds is 5 seconds. So every 5 seconds, we run this function, which checks this file, and then it uses the information in that file to change the map, change the colors, regenerate the list of items, okay? But let's just focus on the thing that we're talking about right now, which is the map. So generate map. This is a function that you should be able to follow along with, okay, if you've done your JavaScript. So we generate a map. We set this variable text1 equal to blank. And then we run a for array where we say for I equals 0 and I is less than 525. So we're going to keep running this for as long as the variable I is less than 525, and we're going to tick it up every time we run the file. So what we're doing is we have a class called mapSquare, and we're going to create a div with the class mapSquare, and we're going to run that over and over again 525 times. And every time we run this, we're going to add this piece of code to this, right? Okay. Then we're going to take this text1, which has 525 divs with the class of mapSquare, and we're going to put that on this game board. Okay, and this is the game board. So when I press this button, it runs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and it creates these squares, which are 25 by 25 pixels. Okay, then it runs this function that says color the board. Okay, and coloring the board. What is color the board? Color the board. Color the board. So color the board just checks and sees. It checks this array, which has all of the places where I put like attacked by wolf, or bitten by wasps or whatever. it checks them, and it says, I want to make that square yellow, right? So it colors the board. So this would probably be a good thing for me. We already did this kind of together when we did the life game. So this is probably should not be that unfamiliar with you or for you, but we can go through it step by step here in a little bit. But after it colors the board, it checks who is the player, right? Checks your ID. And then it says, if the player's location, which is in an array, which I'll show you, is it's going to run through all the players, and it's going to basically say, if you have a location, then I'm going to find the right square for you, and I'm going to color it either blue or red. I'm going to color it blue if it's you, right? If I don't know where I put my person, right over here. So this is me. It's going to color it blue, and it's going to color it red if it's somebody else. So basically what we're doing here is we're checking specific information to color certain things. All right, so I'm going to let you sort of look at some of these things, and I'm going to think about how to best show this information. But what we want to do is sort of go through this step by step so we can see how the game is developed and then moving forward. The big thing that I want you to get or take away from this is that we are building this game, and everything that we're going to do in this game, we're going to be able to use for strategy games. We're going to be able to use for the game of life. So message me what you're thinking of. I'm going to think through how to best present this for you, but I think that, I think that this is going to be a good process.